Hello friends, welcome back to the channel and thanks for subscribing to the channel. In this video, we are going to learn about rules and permissions in Laravel project. So as an example, I have this Laravel projects where many users come and test my project. So I want to create some rules and permission for each user and assign those rules to the users. So in this project, I have 3 users, one user, one manager and one admin. Each of them have their own rules. For user, I have user rule. For manager, I have manager rule. And for admin, I have an admin rule. Each of these rules have their own set of permissions. So for example, the manager can only see the dashboard and nothing else. And the users can see the testing part and they can view the project. But the admin of the project, he can create posts, delete them and edit them. So these are all of them are the permissions: dashboard, test, delete, view, edit. And each of my users have their own specific rules. So let's see how we can build this. So let's start by installing our packages. First of all, we will open our terminal and in here we will type composer require Laravel /UI, enter. Now let's wait until the installation is finished. Okay, the installation is finished now. After the installation, we have to type PHP artisan UI bootstrap --auth and enter again. So I already have a project and I am installing bootstrap UI. So it asking me that should I replace the files or not. Most of the things I will say yes, except the layout part. So I don't want to replace my layout. So this is the layout. I don't want to replace this. So no. Again, yes, everything is done. So our registration and login part is done. Now we can register and log in. So let's go to our project and log in or register. So let's say register first of all. Okay. So as you guys can see, I have registered a new user and it automatically log in. So the registration and login part is that much easy. You can do it in just simple few commands and done. Now it's time for us to install rules and permissions. For that, we have to come to Google and type here Laravel rules and permissions, enter. Then in here we have to select spatie. Then after when it came, click on installation in Laravel and scroll down until installing part and copy this line of code and paste it in your terminal. Let's clear this, paste, enter. Okay, now let's wait until the installation is finished. Okay, so the installation is finished. Now let's go back to our browser, scroll down. Step 4 is optional. I will escape, and after that the step 5 is to publish the config files. Let's copy this, paste it into our terminal. Okay, this part is also done. Now let's go and scroll down and copy this to clear our config file. So let's go here and paste it, this one also in our terminal. Now let's go back to the documentation. Now let's run PHP artisan migrate. Okay, this one is also done. Scroll down. And at the last, we have to add this treat has roles in our users model. So let's copy this and paste. Let's go to our app models and our users table in here. Let's close this. Now close this one also. Now we have to add it in here. Has roles. Let's add the class also. Okay, so everything is set. Now we can create our rules and permission and assign it to the users. So let's see how we can do that. So let's open our terminal and create a new controller by typing PHP artisan make controller and give it a name of rules and permission controller. Let's hit enter. Okay, controller has been created. Now let's go to our new controller. Let's controllers and rules and permission controller. In here I will create a new method by typing public function add permissions, and it will accept request, $request. Then inside here I will create my permissions. So I will type permission create. Then inside here I will pass an array and name and give it a name. For example, add product permission. That's it. Now let's go and create a route for this method. Okay, so our route is ready. Now let's go to our browser and to this URL to test our permission. So let's go here and add this. Now let's go to our database and check permission table, that is it added successfully or not. So if I scroll down, permission, yeah, it has been added. Now let's go back to our browser and back. So in here I want to create permission for all of my sidebar menus. For example, I want to create a permission for drop zone, auto searches, and all of them. So I can assign it to the user's role. So each user can have access to only few of them or maybe all of them. So let's see how we can build this. So let's go back to in our rules and permission controller. In here, I have already created a new array of all the permissions that I want to add. For example, I have a full calendar, drop zone, auto suggest, all of them which are in here. You guys can see, for example, here I have full calendar, drop zone, all of the name of all of them are inside my array, and I want to add them as an permission. Then at the bottom of that, I am just using a for each loop to create a permission for each of items inside my array, and I don't need this one, so let's delete it. Now let's go back and again to add permissions URL, add permission. Okay, done. Let's go check. Okay, so all of my permissions are added into my database, so the permission part is done. Now let's go and create our rules. To save the time, I already created some blade files before. For example, I created this index file where I display my all the rules in here, and also this create part, only the front end, where we have an input field where the user type the rule name and select the users to add inside this rule, and also you will set the permissions. So for example, this rule should have these permissions. For example, they can see the full calendar, drop zone, and auto searches, but not others. So when the user clicks save, it will automatically assign these users and permission to this rule. So let's go and build the backend for this logic. So let's go back to our VS Code, and inside our rules and permission controller, in here I will create the method. So let's type public function create, and inside here we will say request, $request, and inside here I will create a variable with the name of rule, and in here I will say rule create to create the rule. Then I will set the name is equal to $request name. This is the name of the rule that we get from the user, so it will be rule name. Then after that, I will assign this the permissions. So if I show you guys, I will add these permissions inside this rule. So to do that, I will type for each, because all of them are array with this checkbox. So let me show you guys also that to be clear. So let's scroll down to create part, and in here, as you guys can, let's scroll down. So this is my permission table. If I scroll a little bit more down, in here I have a checkbox. The value is the name of the permission, not the ID, the name of the permission. I set the value of checkbox, the name of the permission, and my name, the name of the checkbox is array. So that's why I am using for each loop. So let's go back to our controller in here. So we will type for each $request permission as $permission. Then inside this I will give permission to the rule. So I will type $rule give permission to and $permission. So that's it. This will set all the permissions to this rule. Now let's add the users also. So let's scroll, type for each $request dash users as $user. Again, $user is equal to user find $user to fetch the user we want. Then after that, $user assign role, and we will say $role again $name. Okay, let's delete this extra $sign also. So everything is set. To assign a user to a role, we will say assign role, and to assign a permission to role, we will give permission to, and in here we will add the permission name. So everything is set, and let's type here return redirect back to show rules. Okay, everything is set. Now let's go to our browser and let's add a new role in here by the name of test role, and assign these users to this role and give full calendar drop zone and auto suggest permission to these rules. Except this tree, they cannot access other parts. So let's click save. Yeah, okay, our rule is done. And if I go to my database, let's go to our database, and in here if I select model has rules, in here as you guys can see, all my users have or inside that role. So right now if we click to auto suggest, they can go, and if I click to other part, for example weather API, they still can see it because we have not assigned our routes with these middlewares or with this permission. So let's go and add middleware to our routes to restrict the users to from accessing this. For that, we have to, first of all, we have to come back to the documentation and scroll down until you find the middleware section. Click this. Now in here we have to scroll down up to the alias part in here. So let's copy this, copy all of them, and let's go back to our VS Code. In VS Code, we have to go to our bootstrap app.php, and in here inside with middleware, inside here you have to paste this code. So let's save it. Now to use the permissions inside your web.php, in here, for example, I will add a permission to my push notification. So at the end I will type middleware, and in here I will say permission and give it the permission name which we created. For push notification, if I come to my rules and permission controller, for push notification I use push notification. So I will copy this, let's copy this and just paste it here. Same thing I can do. For example, if I scroll up, in here I have a form builder route, so I will add a middleware for this one also. So I will type middleware, and inside here permission, then colon. Now let's copy our form builder permission from here that we added. So here it is. Let's copy this. Let's go back to our web.php and paste it here. Let's save this. Now let's go and add permission to all our routes. So let's go. Okay, so all my middlewares are set in my all routes. Now let's go back to in our browser and let's click the drop zone. It's working. I can access it. Let's click on lazy lake. In here I got user does not have the right permission with the 403 code. So we can see it's working. If I click the CRUD, it's not working. But if I click the full calendar, as you guys can see, I can access it. So this is how we can set permission to our routes. Let's zoom in. Yeah, we just type, first of all, we will register our middlewares in our app, and sorry, in our bootstrap app.php. In here we will add the aliases for our rules and permission. Then inside our web.php we will type middleware and permission, then the name of our permission that we want to set this route for. Okay, so up to this part everything is done. Now because the users, they don't have access to our, for example, lazy load, so I don't want to display the lazy load link in here also. So we have to use our middlewares and our blade files as well. So let's see how we can use permissions in the blade file. For that, let's go back to our VS Code and inside our resources, views, and let's go to my layouts and sidebar dot layout in here. So I don't want to display the push notification if the user don't have access to push notifications. So to do that, I will just type can, C-A-N, and type my permission name. So let's copy the push notification from here, the permission name, and paste it inside my sidebar. And let's end our can. So we will type end can. Now let's go back to VS Code. Let's refresh. Now if I scroll down, as you guys can see, there is no push notifications. So let's do the same thing for our chat as well. So let's go up and in here let's type add can and let's copy the chat from here, chat application, paste it here and end it. So let's type end can. Now let's go back and refresh our page. So as you guys can see, the chat is also gone. So this is how we can use our permissions inside our blade file with the help of the can. So hope you guys enjoyed the video and like it. If you have any questions, write it down in the comment and don't forget to press the subscribe and like button.